Go ahead and do a speed comparison between both of these phones. The iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 13 mini has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see how, I guess, both of these things kind of compare. There we go. It's kind of funny. Both these phones look like they're kind of floating. So all the apps are clear in the background. Let's go and get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing. Hopping out of this one, let's do music, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing too. Let's do App Store, 3, 2, 1. Now I will have, I knew I was going to have network connection problems on both. Let's do news, 3, 2, 1. Now I have a feeling this one's probably not going to load. As you can see, some of them are having network connection issues. Photos, 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Camera, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing too, you can see my foot right here. Hopping out of this one. Let's get into mail, 3, 2, 1. And it did mess up on the 13 mini, but I think it was a slight, so we'll just kind of load that in the background. Clock, 3, 2, 1. About the same thing too. And that pretty much we can do health, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing too. So we're having a pretty good experience on both. I think both of them did a pretty good job at both the applications. Now let's go and start loading up some of these third-party applications right here. So we can do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing. I kind of clicked them a little bit differently. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing too, not that big of a difference. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know what happened there. I think with the glass, it makes it seem like I'm clicking them when I'm not. So we'll just kind of see what happens. In worst case scenario, we'll load it up in the background and see what happens there. And about the same thing, surprisingly. So me, I've actually clicked them at the same time. We can do stack, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing too, we can get into some gameplay here. I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference, but it's still pretty cool to see. Hopping out of this one. Let's get into Thank You, 3, 2, 1. And you can see, there we go. Kind of scrolling around here, not that big of a difference either. Hopping out of this one. Let's get into Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And you can see pretty much the same thing too, getting into some gameplay here. I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference. This is a pretty basic game. Let's get into Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And I think I've already done this one. Let's do Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And network connection problems on both. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And a little bit of a pop-up here, kind of annoying. And it does look like the 13 mini is slightly faster, but this one did get into a pop-up, so do keep that in mind. Again, kind of annoying thing, but there's nothing we can really do about it. And this one kind of finished up quicker than I thought. Let's get into some gameplay here. And again, I think it's probably going to be roughly around the same, so definitely not that big of a difference. This is a pretty basic game at that, but still pretty cool. Hopping out of this one, we can load up the original Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. And we may be in different spots, but it's still interesting to see. And I guess we weren't. And quite possibly the iPhone 13 mini is going to be the faster one here. So even from this type of example, there were a lot of pop-ups and different things that happened that were out of our control. But I do think that when it comes down to it, both these phones did a great job. And I really don't think one is way faster than the other one. I think both of them did a good job. If I had to pick up one, it probably wouldn't be due to the performance. I would assume the 13 mini is the faster one, but it doesn't really give me that vibe that it's way faster, way slower between them both. They both did pretty much the same in RAM management too. So that pretty much covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the camera.